Hello GB fans, what's happening? Azuriel here with another update video for you. Now I know this is taking a little bit longer than I expected it to and or wanted it to, but we are progressing. We do have progress made. I have started adding detail parts to my pack. I'm just waiting on a few little bits and pieces here and there, but this is the main reason for this update video today. So basically, I got in contact with JackDoud. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. JackDoud, JackDude, whatever. I got a hold of a guy named Jack on the Ghostbusters fans forums. And I'm like, hey dude, what can you do for me? He's like, oh, okay, I got a whole bunch of parts here. And this is what I got. So after money was exchanged and everything else, I've got this package here. As you can tell, it's pretty heavy. It's little under 3.5 pounds, maybe a little bit over 3.5 pounds. But the contents are amazing. So we've got our handy dandy plastic cutting tool, which we're going to use to get into this because I can't find a box cutter. So I'm going to have to be very careful so as to not damage the contents with it. Because that would make me sad if I had damaged what I ordered. Now I do highly recommend, if you are putting together a Proton pack, I highly recommend, if you want to keep your pack as light as possible, order resin cast parts. They are lighter. You will see a noticeable, significant difference with said parts, but that being said, oh, look at this beautifulness. Alright, so we've got pouch number 1. Let's see, we've got some hat lights, which need a little bit of paint. Should be good to go right off the bat. We've got some Ligris fittings. They are the straight fittings for the thrower. These are all thrower components. We've got some knobs, some knurled knobs. Looks like we've got, we've got the track buttons. We've got some resistors for the pack, and a little bit of flashing, a little bit of cleanup involved. That's awesome. Not too much needed here. Alright. Let's see. We've got the palm rest for the front of the thrower, which it looks like the flashing seam is right here, so we're going to have to sand down that. Oh, look at this. Look at this beauty right here. Right here is a thrower grip. Ooh, that feels really nice. Oh my God, Jack, if you're watching this video, man, you did an amazing job with these thrower handles. So I'm going to have to cut the flashing off of here. It seems fairly, well, let's see how soft the resin is. Ooh, okay. It's not entirely soft. It will need a little sanding and a little cutting. And this we'll take care of with maybe the hacksaw. We'll see how that goes. But that's really beautiful. We've got another palm rest. Awesome. Ooh, look at this shock mount. Alright, so there is a little bit of air bubbling going on here. In all fairness, he did warn me that that would be the case. It does look like the seam is here. Other than that, this is a really beautiful looking shock mount. And with a little bit of weathering and a little bit of stressing, this could actually look like it's been used. Wow, this is really awesome. Thanks again, Jack. You are the man. These get mounted on the Proton pack like this. So this would be the bumper, and then you'd set it on top of said bumper. There is a screw that does go down in here, but I'm going to have to drill that out with something. I'm not entirely sure what. I do know that I will need a bit, and just finding the right size bit is going to be, well, it's going to be an adventure. It's not going to be a challenge, it's going to be an adventure. Alright, so, got another package here. This looks like, a bunch more knobs and stuff for another thrower, which is awesome. More fittings for the throwers. Alright, another shock mount. This one seems to be in a lot better shape. Wow, dude. Jack, you are amazing, dude. There is a little bit of flashing on the inside. It looks like where maybe the mold broke. But that is pretty easily reparable. I can just take a piece of sandpaper in there, you'll fold it up. I wonder how easy it is to break some of this off. Not very easy. So we'll get in there with an oh, there we go. That actually came off pretty easy. So we'll get in there with an X-Acto knife and with a new blade. And we'll just try to cut down some of that flashing and then get in there with a with some sanding paper and just get into there. But man, these are beautiful. Oh my god, dude. You sincerely, Jack, if you are watching this, I honestly feel like you undersold these shock mounts because they are beautiful, man. Even this one here, I mean, even though it's got a whole bunch of like cracks and stuff in it from pouring, it still is an amazing piece because with a little bit of weathering, it could look like it's been used and damaged, and this is really cool looking. I might actually have to use this on my weathered pack. And I will get a video of that soon. Oh, here is another, oh, we got a whole nother set of grips here. These, we've got 4 total. So this is going to be the inside and outside part of the thrower, meaning it'll be the rear and front handle for each thrower. And it looks like they should fit the PVC tube that I have attached to my thrower, which I will get a test fit in just a moment here. But man, these are freaking beautiful. Alright, dude, I'm seriously, I think I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm so excited. Alright, so this is for the pack mounted clippered valve. It goes right on the pack. We need to drill these out. Throw in some screw holes and cut this off. Again, probably using the hacksaw because it'll be really, really soft and really easy to cut through, and then we'll sand down the bottom. But man, oh Christ, these are beautiful. Wow, I cannot wait to hit these with some paint and just go to town. I will need to either print out or pick up some labels, which will be fairly easy to do. There are resources all over gbfans.com. If you guys watching are not members of GB Fans, go and check out the community, go check out the forums. Really cool place to get your Ghostbusters fix on. Alright, we got another clippered valve, and I think this is the smaller one. No, it looks like the... did he send the smaller one? He did. Alright, so this one is slightly smaller, which means... Yes, okay. So this goes on the pack, this goes on the thrower. You can tell by how far each of these knobs is screwed down. But very little flashing, very little bit of cleanup needed. These are beautifully cast. I mean, wow. Holy crap. I sound like a complete fangirl, don't I? Alright, and we got our last clippered valve here, which I might drill these out and throw in some actual grub screws just to make it look a little bit more authentic. Man, these are freaking beautiful. Dude, seriously. Alright, here we got a thrower heatsink. This goes on the side of the Proton thrower. Proton wand, neutrino wand. There are almost a dozen names for it. But this goes on the side, and wow, this is beautiful. Like, seriously beautiful. I cannot wait to get these parts cleaned up and stuck on my pack. We got our second heatsink. We've got 2 of the rear palm rests. These go on the back of the Proton thrower. Neutrino wand, positron collider, whatever you want to call it. And if I remember right, they get mounted with the longer L up. I'll have to double check my resources, but basically one of these 2 sides gets mounted to the underside of the thrower, and again, I'll demonstrate that in a minute. Ooh, okay, this is a thing of beauty here. Here are the PPDs for the Proton pack. Here's one and the other, and again, these are really beautifully cast. I see that he already gave these a rough sanding, so I don't have to do much in the way of work getting these on the pack. Just cutting out the flashing around the bottom, which again, some light sanding and maybe the hacksaw on the bottom, you know, just to cut that separation out. Alright, and it looks like we're coming to the end of our box of goodies. Oh, look at this. He used the actual pencils they used in the movie to make these. These are the booster frame ladders for the booster tube, and they get mounted with a couple of screws that go on the top and on the bottom. And it doesn't look like this needs really any cleanup, just maybe some sanding on the bottom to flatten it out, and maybe, I don't know, I'll have to double check the dimensions, but maybe a little bit more cutting is involved. I'm not 100% certain because I've never actually built or owned a real one of these, so I actually have to go through and take a look. But you can actually see that there's still the pencil marks in here. That's awesome. I might actually have to leave those in for authenticity's sake. But man, this is beautiful. Jack, you've done an amazing job with these, dude. An amazing job. Alright, and here we have another booster frame ladder. This one, it looks like the dye in the ladder itself didn't quite get all over, but this is going to be sanded and painted anyway. So yeah, this is really amazing, dude. High quality product. If this is not, you know, a review, if this wasn't a review, you'd think otherwise. But yeah, here are the gun tracks. These go on the bottom side of the thrower. And then these are actually really cleaned up. These are really nice molds. Holy crap. Now, when I say that the molds for like the clippers and the shock mounts are beautiful, this thing is just, this is perfection right here. This is what you're looking for in a gun track. This is, it looks like it was actually taken off of a milled part. If you look, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but if you look carefully, you can actually see some of the CNC mill lines from when they stick the router in and they run it in a circle and take off layer by layer. You can actually see some of that in the detail here. Like there's grain and there's everything. It looks beautiful. Oh my god, dude. Alright, so that is it for this update. I am gonna go and start cleaning these up after I have my fangirl moment, because I'm just ready to bounce off the walls, just screaming in joy. These things are so beautiful. But before I do that, I'm going to go and grab my thrower, so bear with me a second. It's like 1 second, and I will show you what goes where and how. Alright, we're going to move that out of the way. Alright, so as you can see, I've already started my thrower. And here, we're going to use this deck box to prop it up so it doesn't fall over. Okay, so this is the left side of the thrower. So if you're handling it, you'd be using your right hand on this end and your left hand on this end. And we're going to go around and show you what all the little parts do. Now this is the heatsink, as I mentioned before. So we're going to come around to the left side of the thrower. Sorry, to the right side of the thrower. The left side is right here, in case I screwed that up a minute ago. Alright, I need to catch my breath. I am just ecstatic. So this is going to go, I believe, like this or like that. I don't remember exactly. I do know that it goes on here, and I'm pretty sure it goes on just like this. Next up, we have the clippered valve. That's the long-ended clippered valve. We need the short-ended clipper valve. So this is going to go right here. Or no, it goes on this side right here at an angle. And then this will get a label and be painted all pretty. And it'll look really nice. The next thing we have is actually in the bag. And I can't show you all of the thrower completely yet because I still have to build a box that comes off the end here. And I still have to build the trigger box that's on the left side there. Or the right side, I don't remember. Alright, so we've got this little piece here, which is actually this knob right here. We've got this right here, which you could do one of two ways. There's the Ghostbusters 1 and the Ghostbusters 2 version of this particular part. The Ghostbusters 2 version, if I remember correctly, is shorter, so it's cut off right about here. But this gets stuck right here, and this is basically just where, you know, hat lights go and everything. Oh, you can't see that, can you? It's going to go right here toward the end of the wand, and you get another hat light here, and you get something else, which actually have been included. So let me see if I can dig these out quick. You get two hat lights on this end. One of them is tiny as all get out, like super tiny. Seriously, guys, it's super tiny. And one goes on this side, and one, this is the tiny one, goes over here, if I remember correctly. And that's how the this end will look. And these get painted separate colors, and they look really nice. And then you have this one, which actually goes on the thrower itself. It goes right about here. We have this knob, which actually we have this knob, which sits right about here, and then this goes here, I think. Pretty sure it goes like right here. Again, I'll have to double check where all my mounting positions are, but I'm pretty sure that this little knob will come around here. It goes right about here. And then we've got this knob right here that goes up on top, which kind of sits flat over everything like that. So we'll have to actually make some additional structure that comes up off the side of the thrower to hold this up. Let's see, coming back around to this side, I hope I get this in frame this time. Okay, coming back to this side, got to use my dinner to prop this thing up. We've got, okay, I know exactly what that is. We've got these two little track knobs, or not track knobs, but they go on the side like this. And they go on the side opposite of the heatsink. So these are pretty much, you know, just glue and done. Sanding a little bit, painting them silver, and just getting them right here on the sides. And I may do with these what I did with my crank knob. If you guys don't know about the crank knob, I'll demonstrate it here in a little bit, but to really get a sense of what I did, you can actually see I see it on video a few videos back. So we've got these grips, which, oh my god, they fit beautifully on here. There is a little bit of a gap, but that's because this was never really designed for the 1-inch PVC tubes. They were actually designed for aluminum tubes. So I'm going to have to super glue these in place and then maybe run a little bit of filler and or trim down these handles or see what my options are. But I will unmount the camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So that is a beautiful fit. Even if it doesn't go all the way on, it's still a beautiful fit. And there are ways we can get this thing on there without worrying too much. This is actually, yeah, this is the right end. This is actually going to slide a little bit further up. It's way too far down. It should be. Come on, cooperate. There are a lot of heavy items right here in the front of the chassis of the thrower, but this sits right about here. So you're left with about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of gap between the back of the thrower wand handle thing. I know, it's so technical. And the front of the thrower's handle. And you need the clearance in front. Oops, you need the clearance in front to make room for a box that goes right here, and it comes out about this far, I want to say, which is about 1.5 inches, maybe less. Alright, so now that we have all that established, we are going to take one of these. We are going to take one of these. Yeah. And we're going to take one of these. And we're going to go over to the Proton pack so you can see it in all of its glory at the moment. And I can point out to you guys where these 3 parts go. I do not, however, need at the moment, I have an extra set of these resistors, so I don't need these at the moment. They will come in handy though when I get working on the other pack and fixing that up, and I will have an extra set of these resistors, which is always nice, and I'll explain to you why that's nice in a little while. So we're going to, pardon my messy floor because of the cats. Alright, so right here we have my old motherboard, which is the motherboard I was going to use, but opted against after I got the spacer plates put onto, sorry about the noise, after I got the spacer plates put onto my Proton pack. So we're actually going to try and lift this thing up as best as we can and give it a little tilt. And yes, it does freely stand on its own, which is really cool. So here we have the thrower in all of its goodness. Say hello to my assistant Ravage. Hi, baby girl. So we're going to give you the first look of the paint job. This is, seriously, I am really happy with this paint job, and once I get a battery, I will show you guys the lights. First, we're going to come down here to the bumper, which is, ooh, I forgot the shock mount, which is where the shock mount gets, well, mounted onto. As you can see, I left a screw here, but this screw is actually going to become a longer screw. It's going to be like twice as long to accommodate the shock mount. And what it'll do is it'll sit right over that screw and stick out, which, yes, this is going to get painted. I'll probably paint it silver and throw some like gold paint on it or some copper paint on it to make it look weathered. Make it look like it's rusting, something, I don't know, I'll figure something out. But yeah, shock mount goes right here, and that looks really beautiful. I really like the way that shock mount looks. Oh my god. Whoa. Alright. So next, we have our PPD. Whoops. Which, I have no idea what it stands for, but that goes into this hook right here. This little guy sits right there at a slight angle. Just like that. And it's just big enough for you to see around the corner and see the hose connectors. So we've got that. We've got this other clippered valve. This is the extended one, which goes on the pack right here. And that looks really nice. Man, I cannot wait to get these painted and put it on. And then last but not least, we've got the booster frame ladder, or booster ladder, or booster frame, depending on the vernacular you wish to use. This gets mounted up right here, just like that. Oops. Just like that. And man, this thing is gorgeous already. I mean, once all this work is done, I'm gonna have probably the most accurate movie prop I've ever made. And this is my third incarnation of the Proton pack. First one was a really crappy cardboard pack, which if you guys want a history on, feel free to drop me a line. But we're going to go into, before I wrap this video up, I'm going to go into paint and everything else I've done on this thing so far. Alright, take a deep breath. To start with, I had to actually manufacture my own HGA and my own, what's the word I'm looking for, end fitter, or end filter, depending on, again, the vernacular, depending on what word you want to use. And you can see that right here on the side. I did give my HGA a little bit of a twist. I painted the top red as opposed to putting a red sticker on it. I will likely keep it red, just because I like the way it looks. And yeah, I think it looks pretty sharp. I've got all these fake welds on it from the hot glue I used to bond the two together, which, you know, you can't go wrong with hot glue. If you ever need to make a quick, convincing weld line, hot glue is the way to go. You just make little beads and then you overlap each little bead. And you make it look as messy as possible without making it too messy. Alright, the booster here is made out of 2-inch PVC. And again, that is also weathered, so all the weathering that's on it is going to shine through really nicely. I mean, you can actually see the wash over job I did with this. And that's all just dry brush work. I've got a little bit of dry brushing here, make this look like aluminum tube that's been painted and again weathered. This still needs to get connected, so I really don't have a whole lot to do with this other than put a hole here and then run it through and then put a collar on it to make it look like the vacuum line. Alright, over here we've got the weathering around the outside edge of the power cell light. We've got that glued down pretty nicely. It does have a nice blue light to it. We've got all of this weathering job, dry brushing on the sides and around the power cell. We've got 1, 2, 3 resistors. I actually drilled holes into the resin resistors that I got last year and just kind of sank the tube after I cut them in. Cut the tube into a V-shape. Ravage, look at what she's trying to do. Ravage. Alright, I got the cosmetic arms, whoops, got the cosmetic arms mounted. These are not mounted to the pack, they are mounted to the motherboard. And if you guys want to see that, I will show it to you, but there really is no need. This line, I'm still waiting for the proper connector for here and for up here, so I can put the, I think it's 1/4 inch loom, split loom, onto the pack itself. Otherwise, I'll just use these blue things, the catch system, push something, I don't know what they're called. Someone can tell me what they are in the description. Well, the proper name for this part of this fitting is. But this little push down part, I can just clip the split loom to. And that's pretty much it. I did some weathering on the bumper, which I think looks really good. It does look like it's a metal bumper.